The Queen Mary, one of the most iconic ships in history, was born from the ambition of the British Cunard Line in the 1930s. Designed to be a luxurious ocean liner, she was meant to cater to the elite passengers traveling between Europe and North America. Launched in 1934, the ship was a symbol of speed, elegance, and modernity. At 1,019 feet long, she was an imposing presence on the seas, with a top speed that allowed her to make transatlantic crossings in record times. Her sleek design and lavish interiors made her the epitome of luxury during the golden age of ocean travel. Yet, beneath her polished surface, the Queen Mary carried with it a dark and unsettling history, one that would turn the vessel into a magnet for paranormal activity. During World War II, the Queen Mary's fate took a dramatic turn. She was requisitioned by the British government for war service, and her role as a passenger liner was over. Painted gray and renamed the Grey Ghost, she was transformed into a troop ship. In this new role, the Queen Mary carried over 700,000 soldiers across the Atlantic, providing vital support to the Allied war effort. But with the high number of soldiers traveling aboard, tragedy was inevitable. The ship became the scene of numerous accidents, deaths, and strange occurrences. One of the most well-known incidents took place in 1942, when a collision occurred between the Queen Mary and the HMS Curaçao. The crash caused the smaller warship to sink, killing hundreds of its crew. It's said that the Queen Mary was haunted by the souls of those who perished in that tragic accident, their spirits forever tethered to the ship. After the war ended, the Queen Mary was retired from military service and returned to her former role as a luxury liner. However, it was during this time that the first reports of ghostly activity began to surface. Crew members, passengers, and later investigators all claimed to have experienced strange, unexplainable occurrences aboard the ship. One of the most prominent ghost sightings occurred in the engine room, which is believed to be one of the most haunted areas of the ship. Crew members reported hearing footsteps and voices echoing through the vast machinery spaces, but when they went to investigate, no one was ever found. Some said that the spirits of workers who had been killed during the ship's construction still lingered in the engine room, unable to move on. One of the most chilling and famous ghost stories of the Queen Mary is tied to its stateroom B340, a room that has become synonymous with paranormal activity. This room, once occupied by high-profile guests, became infamous for its terrifying experiences. Guests and staff alike reported strange sounds, disembodied voices, and sudden cold spots in the room. In the early 1960s, a guest allegedly had their sheets violently ripped off in the middle of the night. The following morning, when they reported the incident, they were shocked to find that the room was completely undisturbed, with no sign of an intruder. Over the years, numerous visitors to room B340 have claimed to experience unexplained phenomena, such as strange knocking on doors, the sound of someone walking outside, and even the feeling of a cold, unseen presence in the room. Despite the numerous ghostly occurrences, room B340 was closed off for a period due to the overwhelming number of reports from guests. Today, it remains a hotspot for paranormal investigators and thrill seekers, eager to experience the restless spirits said to haunt the room. Beyond the accidents, there have been numerous tragic deaths aboard the Queen Mary, further contributing to the ship's haunted reputation. One of the most well-known incidents took place in 1966, when a crew member fell to their death in the ship's engine room. The fall was deemed accidental, but some believe that the ghost of the crew member still roams the lower decks, haunting the space where they fell. Another infamous death occurred in the ship's swimming pool area. It is said that a woman drowned in the pool during the 1930s, and her spirit remains trapped within the vicinity. Visitors to the pool area have reported strange occurrences, including a sudden drop in temperature, an eerie feeling of being watched, and even the sensation of something pulling them under the water. Ghostly apparitions of the woman have been cited by a few guests, further cementing the ship's reputation as one of the most haunted places on Earth. In recent decades, the Queen Mary has become a prime destination for paranormal investigators, drawn to the ship's rich history and countless reports of ghostly activity. Teams of investigators have spent hours combing the ship, setting up equipment to capture paranormal evidence, and speaking with employees and visitors who have had strange experiences. One famous investigation occurred in the early 2000s, when a team of ghost hunters recorded unexplainable voices and sounds, including a woman's scream in the engine room. Other investigators have captured video footage of shadowy figures moving through the ship's dark corridors, and some have even reported hearing the faint sounds of footsteps, accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature, as though someone were walking beside them. Yet no one is ever seen. Today, the Queen Mary is permanently docked in Long Beach, California, where it functions as a hotel and tourist attraction. Visitors can take guided tours, many of which focus on the ship's haunted past. The ship remains open to the public, with special ghost tours held throughout the year, especially around Halloween. The Queen Mary has gained a cult following among ghost hunters and thrill seekers, becoming an iconic symbol of paranormal activity. The Queen Mary stands today not only as a reminder of the golden age of ocean travel, but also as a chilling monument to the ghostly presence that seems to linger aboard. From the deaths and tragedies of its wartime service, to the unexplained hauntings that have followed, the ship's legacy is forever intertwined with the supernatural. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the Queen Mary continues to intrigue those fascinated by the paranormal. The stories of restless spirits, shadowy figures, and eerie sounds will undoubtedly continue to captivate the imagination of anyone who steps foot on this legendary vessel. For now, the Queen Mary remains one of the most haunted ships in the world, a ship haunted not just by its past, but by the souls of those who will never leave.